Hey YouTube, it's Gun73, and this is going to be the final installment in my little lock mini-series. Now, in this video, it'll basically be I've discussed the three, at least in my opinion, the three main approaches to a lock. We have the simplicity approach, we have the absolute hardcore strength, the brute force knife lock approach, and we have the convenience approach. Now, each of these is legitimate, and each of these probably 99% of the time will all work just about the same. And it really boils down to personal preference and personal experience with, maybe one or two knives, which aren't even a representative sample of the whole population, that determine which way how you look at knives, what you choose for your locking mechanism. Now, the main thing with this is, what I was going to say basically is, does it matter? Now let's say, hypothetically, these are all arbitrary numbers. Let's just say that the Sebenza can hold 300 pounds on its lock before it breaks. Let's say that the Voyager can hold 600 pounds before it breaks. And let's say the compression lock Spyderco can hold 400 pounds before the lock breaks. Now those are all pretty high numbers, right? Now, how many people out there can exert, 400 pounds or 300 pounds constantly on a knife while cutting something? And when would you realistically be exerting that kind of strength when you're cutting something? In my opinion, you won't. You won't ever have to do that, Maybe if you're using the knife to like if you have it like this, like jammed into something, you tied a rope around it and you're rappelling down, but you'd never do that, It's all just feel good, in my opinion, Knife makers say, oh, my lock is stronger than yours, or oh, it can hold 1,000 pounds, or it can hold a team of elephants off the side of a cliff. It doesn't matter because in the real world, you'll never exert that much strength on the lock. You just won't, You may exert, let's just say, 50 pounds on when you're cutting something really hard, but even then, like I talked about in I think the first video, all the force is this way. It's not that way. When you say all the locking strength things, when you ever going to be exerting force, those hundreds of pounds of force on the spine of the knife? You just won't. I mean, you never ever would ever do that, It's all just for people who get way too involved when they think, oh, well, I need the best lock out there, or my lock is better than your lock. It's like a dick measuring contest. Who cares, man? Who really cares about how strong your lock is? In my opinion, things like edge retention or how it carries in your pocket or how it feels in your hand are way more important than how many hundreds of pounds your knife lock can hold. For thousands of years, people had slip joints or friction folders or whatever, and since human beings today still have their fingers and they're not, we didn't, go extinct because people in the past lost their fingers and couldn't do anything, I'd say that slip joints and friction folders and things the like are perfectly acceptable, And, people complain about, how thin the lock is. People complain about how thin the stop pin is. Really, have you ever seen a broken stop pin? Have you ever seen a broken lock? And, that was from normal use? You never will. Even the picture of the broken Emerson HD7 with the really bowed out frame lock, that was from someone beating the shit out of that knife, Or batoning it through like a hard ass stump. And it's like, oh, the lock broke. I guess it sucks. It's like, what? I just sit there and I think to myself, what the hell, man? It just pisses me off. It's one of my major pet peeves with knives. Is people just really getting into the lock, and being like, oh, well, my lock is so strong, or it can survive being run over by a train, or it can survive a nuclear blast. Like, dude, you'd be dead anyway. Who cares? All these knives here are perfectly fine. They'll cut. They'll work just fine, even though this lock is stronger and then this lock, which is stronger than that lock, or whatever. Does it matter? It doesn't matter. It's just all marketing, advertising, pride, ego, that sort of thing. You know what I'm saying? So this is the conclusion of the lock series. If you guys feel differently, if you think the locking mechanism is the most important part of a knife, even more important than having a blade, then go ahead and post in the comments. I'd love to hear it. You know, it's all those different opinions that make the world turn around, that and, you know, gravity. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate the views, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.